Welcome back to the channel, two-stroke turbo fans. You know you're going to get an eyeful of tiny little cars that are running like Swiss watches. Well, not quite. Yesterday we worked on IMA, the little red Isetta pictured right here, the Idaho plates. And today we're working on this car. We've got to get this car running, kind of spanning my time between dueling Isettas. And what else do we have laying around the shop today? We've got Stella, the shop dog. She's hot. All of a sudden our weather went from 180 days of rain to 85 degrees. Oh, you are hot. Makes a dog long for laying on a nice cool concrete floor. She likes that. So enough about the dog. Let's get this car rolled out. We got to get this thing working. This is a really special red BMW Isetta. It is a cabriolet. If you notice the back window there, I'm kind of focusing on that. It is a sliding window cabriolet, somewhat rare. And what are we missing here? We got no carburetor. We got no carburetor at all. I think we need carburetor, shocks, and a bunch of stuff on this car. So let's get it in our service position and we'll start working on this Isetta. Okay, Stella's standing out here panting with her hot breath because it's going to be another warm day, which we are very, very much in love with, as well as we are in love with these BMW Isettas. We're working on two of them today, and I thought I would just show you the differences between the two. If you look here really close at your screen, you'll see that one is a convertible, the one in the front there, and this one is not. A lot of subtle differences. It's a very rare car from what I understand. Other than that, they're exactly the same. Sliding windows, about the same year. But we got to pull the engine out of IMA, figure out why she's burning oil, and we got to get this one running. It's missing a bunch of parts. So everybody is now on the car show state of mind because the weather has turned. Finally, it's almost May. And again, we're going to check in with our shop dog, Stella. What's the weather like out there, Stella? Oh, I see. It's warm belly time. So again, you find me tinkering around with the BMW Isetta. When this car came in, the carburetor was laying off and the intake manifold within the heat shroud was completely loose. So I had to take the shroud off, which was kind of a big job. Got the valve working, got the floating. If you're familiar with Isettas or familiar with this type of gravity feed fuel system, you have a gravity feed line that comes from the tank, with the tank is about right up here. So you've got basically head pressure of fuel or liquid in the tank, and it has to gravity feed. So if there's any kinks, like this hose was pointed down, it was creating a loop or too much drag or too much resistance for the fuel to fill the bowl. This has an upside down needle and seat. The needle and seat is actually down here. As the float rises, it uncovers the needle and fills the bowl. And then when the lid is on, the float comes up and it stops this from overfilling. So I just got fuel to drain in the tank. It doesn't look like it's overfilling anywhere. Well, it might be because I've been playing with this. Let's see if she starts. The fella says the cylinder head is brand new, so I hope there's no issues. I'm going to turn the key and I'm going to give it a little choke. Choke is way down here. Thing starts working, which is idling. They didn't use fuel resistant paint on the shroud. It's going to leave a mark there, but we'll get the lid back on this thing. It'll run a little better. That's what it should sound like. No back spray. Like if the cam was off or something, there'd be back spray coming out the carburetor. That's kind of the problem that car's having. So we got it running. Sounds pretty good. Dancing around like it should. These things have to dance. Otherwise, it transfers all the vibration to the car. Just a one cylinder, so it's just a hit and miss. If you don't let it dance, it will be a really rough ride. Okay, as we're working on our customer's 1957 sliding window cabriolet Isetta, can't help but notice this is the fun stuff about upgrading and making things better. So this is the engine area. As you're probably well aware, there's a door that goes here, covers up the engine. There is a piece of metal that goes here with a rubber seal on it that seals this air intake to a louvered exterior panel like the hood, so it can pull in fresh air. We're not going to dwell on that, but what we are going to do is we're going to fix these grommets down here where the hood connects. Goes like this. These get rotten or fuel soaked if you have a leaky carburetor, so we're going to replace these with brand new ones. I think I know where he got these. It's so nice to have a car you can buy parts for. As well as the prior owner put just a bolt in the engine compartment cover. You really need the correct one, which is a key, a special square key. Comes out like that, and you put it in like, well, if I could do that, that square key goes into the special headed bolt so that you don't scratch the paint with your ratchet or whatever. You just simply have this little key, and it's a neat little Isetta feature. So we're going to do that, and then also we are going to put the correct fuel filter. You can see there is a, turn the light on here, a fuel line, like inline filter that comes from the tank to the carburetor. I was speaking earlier about this being a gravity feed system. Any restriction in the line will cause a restriction. I don't know what the restriction is on that. This is correct. This would bolt on right here. It's a glass filter, and this fitting then would go on the side here, and it fills this up. It's really nice to be able to see quickly how much fuel is in this filter to know if the car is going to start or not, and it's correct. So it's really nice that these are available for purchase now. I'm sure they're not cheap, but it's really nice. So we're going to put this on. So we're going to fix the bolt, we're going to fix the rubber grommets, and we're going to put the filter on. All very, very nice upgrades for this beautiful old Isetta. This is the fun stuff. Did I mention that? This is like gravy. Okay, so I was going to show you guys how I rerouted the fuel system on this little Isetta that we're working on, but this is a little tiny car. Let's walk outside. I want to show you something that's a little bigger. You guys are probably tired of these little tiny cars. I mean, I've got them sitting right here, sitting over here, over here. Let's just walk out front for a second and see what we got. I think you're gonna like this. Oh, look! Duncan brought his F900, I think, cab over. Let's take a look at this. It's got dual wiper arms. I think it's a 60 something. We'll ask him here when he gets off the phone. But I just can't stop looking at this thing. He's got new wheels and tires on the front. New 22.5 steer treads. That's cool. Let's back up and get a good look at this thing. Oh, that's pretty neat. It's a gas cab over. It's an old Ford. I think it's 67, 65. What year is this, Duncan?
It's a 73.
Oh, it's a 73. Let's take a look up in the cab. Gotta get way up in here. Oh, that's a cool looking dash. We've got air pressure, alternator, fuel, speedometer, oil, coolant temperature, and tachometer. Fuel tanks left and right, vent, choke, or probably just throttle, headlights, and then separate wipers, wiper left, wiper right, and clearance lamps. Really neat. And then of course air brake stuff. No horn. I think the horn is probably an air horn. Oh yeah, it's got an air horn up here. Oh, and then of course the old-fashioned radio. Wow. And it's a 5-speed with a split diff. Air brake, heater fan. Pretty neat old truck. It's even extra cab. And we got some vagrants living in the back there, some mice. Let's get down and take a look at that backside. Engine is underneath here. I think he said it's a 472 or a 500 cubic inch in there. Smells like gas. Manual transmission, of course. We've got gas tanks, saddle tanks. We have got retreads. You can see the seam in the retread right there. I don't know much about big trucks, but this one is really cool. Air tanks. Really a neat example of a 73 F900. I think it's a 900. Really awesome. He said it was an ex-military or ex-Navy transport truck. Wow. Here's the original inspection list. The original washer reservoir, and then if you want some heat, just open up these little doors. You can put the heat wherever you want it. What a neat old truck. This door needs a little body work, but that is pretty awesome. Oh, you just don't see these anymore. Okay, he's gonna start it up. Oh, that sounds good. Give me a toot on the air horn. Yeah, buddy. Air brakes. He said the power steering is not working, so he's going to make a couple. That is so cool. Such a cool truck. He just turned around down there. He's going to make a pass by the shop. If you can find the gears. Yeah, that's got to be a bear to steer with no power steering. There's third gear. There he goes. Such a cool old truck. Makes all the right noises. Do you like big old trucks? Do you like cab overs? Come here. Get a little love from Daddy. Huh? No? You afraid of the camera? I think you are. You're hot.